Once upon a drought, in a region kissed by sun and roasted by irony, two great nations watched each other across the boiling breath of the Zambezi River. To the north stood Zambia, humble, fertile, copper-rich, a nation whose soil was generous, whose rivers hummed with fish, and whose people moved with quiet dignity. If you asked a Zambian for a cup of maize, they'd give you a whole sack, help you carry it home, and apologize for not adding ground nuts. But Zambia, for all her abundance, lacked certain treasures, the kind that roared, strutted, and charged tourists money to see them. Wildlife was scarce, tourists scarcer. Zebras had to be lured with promises of airtime. To the south stood Zimbabwe, bold, proud, lion-hearted, the home of Victoria Falls, stone ruins that whispered ancient secrets, and a security system so tight, even the wind needed clearance to blow. Zimbabwe had elephants, leopards, baboons that paid rent. Tourists came from Europe, from Asia, even from the moon, probably, to marvel, to photograph, to be chased by angry giraffes. But Zimbabwe's fields were often dry. Her copper stores, modest. Her power supply, best described as experimental. Yet, both nations had one thing in common: a people who could laugh through anything. Power cut? Light a candle and play a guitar. No fuel? Hitch a ride with a donkey? No money? Start a church. Between them stood the mighty Zambezi, flowing with crocodiles, secrets, and diplomatic tension. It was no ordinary river. It was a gossip, a barrier, a slippery passport inspector with a permanent frown. It mocked them both. It told Zambia, "You may have maize, but where's your magic?" It told Zimbabwe, "You have lions, but who's feeding them?" It told the women, "You want tall, serious men? Good luck swimming." Yes, because behind all the political wrangling, there was a romantic dilemma. The Zambian women were frustrated. Why must I cross a crocodile-infested river, holding my ID above my head like Simba, just to meet a man with cheekbones and ambition? And the Zimbabwean men? "Sister, true love requires risk. Besides, we're on MTN. The signal only works near the riverbank." It was in this context that two visionaries arose. King Alban of Zambia, a man whose robe was made of woven peace treaties and whose voice could quiet thunder. And King Benaya of Zimbabwe, a lion in a suit, whose eyes saw both past and prophecy, and whose handshake once made a general retire. The two kings, tired of border bickering and exchange rate envy, met one golden afternoon on neutral ground, Kariba Island, a place so sacred, even mosquitoes brought ID. There, over tea brewed on solar stoves and sweetened with donkey-powered sugar, they spoke. And they didn't just speak. They plotted a revolution. Not a war, not a coup, but a union of purpose, of power, and of parity. Thus, the ALBEN Accord was born, a name that fused their identities and confounded their enemies. "Let the Zambezi no longer divide us," King Alban declared, "but feed us, connect us, baptize our new kingdom. Let the lions of Zimbabwe hunt alongside the tractors of Zambia," said Benaya, "and let our children inherit one story, not two struggling tales." The accord had layers. ALBEN Net Zero, to protect their skies and solar panels from greed, waste, and climate irony. ALBEN Joint Operations Command, a security pact, though mostly an argument over who had better boots. ALBEN Citizen Marriage Act, a law allowing cross-border love to flourish. Zambian women rejoiced. Zimbabwean barbers did too, because hairlines needed to be sharp for first impressions. From that moment, a new entity emerged, the ZamZim Kingdom, not north, not south, but centered in unity. A nation run not by fragile humans, but by code, by clouds, by the untamed imagination of satire. A digital nation built on green tech, powered by solar, and governed by algorithms that danced to Afro beat. In ZamZim, donkeys wear Bluetooth harnesses. Wigs carry Wi-Fi passwords. Ministers are chosen by dance battles and tea brewing skill. Children pledge allegiance by shouting, "Load shedding shall not prosper." The ZamZim crown, woven from recycled copper wire and blessed baobab bark, was not worn by one king, but by the people. It flickered in avatars, it glowed in memes, it lived in story scrolls. They say kingdoms are built by blood and bricks. ZamZim was built by satire and signal strength. By two men who saw past scarcity and saw potential. By two peoples who realized their differences weren't weaknesses, but superpowers. So now, from Lusaka to Harare, from Bulawayo to Kitwe, children grow up not asking, which side of the river are you from? But are you ZamZim enough? And if the answer is yes, then they belong. Because in this kingdom, you don't need a passport, just a smile, a joke, a song, and maybe a functioning inverter. Long live the ZamZim Kingdom. Long live the ALBEN Accord. Long live the ZamZim.